Hello and welcome to this Warhammer 40k battle report with me, Xenovids. Now today's battle report is between the Tyranids and the Chaos Space Marines. So let's see how the Endless Devourer does against the Nurgle Marines. So let's go ahead and look at the mission type. Rolled a 2, which is Purge the Alien, so a simple mission of kill points. The deployment type we rolled was a 4, which is Hammer and Anvil, which isn't too great for the Tyranids. So let's have a look at the gaming table itself. A lot of scenery this time round, a lot of ruined buildings, barracks, forests, some raised hills, a broken down tower, a rockery, some hedges, and some walls. So let's go ahead and look at the Nurgle Army's deployment. 2 rhinos with 10-man units of Plague Marines with plasma and various melters of special weapons, 5 Terminators in the Land Raider, a Defiler, a Land Raider on its own, 10 more Plague Marines, and Typhus. So let's have a look at the Chaos Space Marines Warlord trait. He rolled a 4, which means Typhus has Hatred. Now looking at the psychic powers from the Nurgle, he gets Weapon Virus, which makes a enemy unit's weapons get hot, and Plague Wind, which is a 1-use only fart of doom. So looking at my Tyranids deployment, I have 3 Hive Guard next to 2 Winged Hive Tyrants, 1 with twin-linked Devourers, 10-man Gaunts, a 30 Hormagaunt Broad, a Tyrannothex, a Tervagon, a second Tervagon with a 10-man unit of Tervagonts, and in reserve is a Trigon Prime and the Doom of Malantai as my Cetic Spore. So I again rolled Night Attacker for my Warlord trait. And the Tyranids Psychic Powers, for the Winged Hive Tyrant, I managed to roll Enfeeble and Iron Arm. Iron Arm gives me D3 plus Strength and Toughness, and as you see, Enfeeble, which I get for a lot of my monstrous creatures, allows me to reduce an enemy's Strength and Toughness by 1. So I get quite a few Enfeeble on 3 out of my 4 monstrous creatures on the board, and I get Warp Speed on the final one, which raises my initiative and attack by D3. So turn 1. He comes out of the Rhino with 10 of his Plague Marines. He moves his Land Raider up a little bit, and that's all the movement he really does. It is night fighting turn 1, but he does manage to take a wound off my Tyrannothex with the Land Raider. Now my Tyranids, I just advanced everything up as far as they could. The Hive Tyrants are in their special flying mode, so there's harder to hit, and I managed to birth 8 from that unit, that Tervagon, and 11 from this Tervagon. And with the Hive Tyrant I managed to shoot one of the Rhinos, giving me first blood and the first kill point of the game. And that's all I was able to do with the shooting. So going into turn 2, he moves more a little bit over, shuffles everything to get a better line of sight of my army on the near side. There we can see a better look, a lot to aim for. The Land Raider can see a lot of units as well. And Typhus and the Nurgle Plague Marines move up the board very slowly, looking at the Gaunts ahead of them. So the Land Raider manages to take down a few more wounds on the Tyrannothex. Everything fired at my Winged Hive Tyrant. Didn't manage to ground him, but took 2 wounds off of him. And it's back to my turn. So again, moving a lot up. Both my Trigon Prime and Doom of Malantai come in. And the Trigon Prime is great because he, like a drop pod on my Cetic Spore, when he comes in from reserve, if he hits a piece of terrain, he just stops there, and he's in. So immediately he has to deal with this. So I managed to shoot with the Tyrannothex at the Defiler, taking a whole point off of him. I destroyed one of his Rhinos, knocked the Doom of Malantai over. Took 2 Plague Marines down. And ran and moved most of my gaunts up. So going into turn 3, I managed to take down... he moves away from my Doom of Manatai, tries to keep away from his special ability, and shuffles everything across for a better view. Starting to get a little bit close now with Typhus towards my many gaunts. So I decide to advance them all as much as I can. Do a massive wave of blue coming towards Typhus. And Tervigon advancing the gaunts and Hive Guard up to his Terminators and Plague Marines. My Doom of Manatai is very close to assaulting his Plague Marines. My Tyranids Prime is about to assault his Defiler. And everything's just moved up. So Doom of Manatai goes into close combat, but doesn't really do anything. The Tyranids Prime loses a couple of wounds against the Defiler. The Tyrannifex doesn't manage to take down the Land Raider, and all of my Hormagaunts charge Typhus. So this is pretty amazing. There's going to be 90 attacks. The Doom Manatai fails a little bit with the close combat, and I managed to take down the Defiler down to 1. But the Hormagaunts, as I was talking about, had 90 attacks on the charge against Typhus and managed to not do a single wound against him. And we'll just see how tough it is to wound and take down Typhus in this game. So keep a count, 90 attacks he survived, not a single wound. Turn 4, anything that wasn't in combat has moved closer to my army. He's now shuffled a few units across to get a better view for my Tyrannifex. He wants to take that down and get a kill point. And the rest of my gaunts have moved up towards Typhus. So after a little bit of shooting, a little bit of shuffling over, he managed to take down a couple of gaunts, but not a lot. There isn't many shots in this elite army, so it's all about keeping tough and strong. Again, not really a lot happens in this combat. The Defiler goes down to the Trygon Prime, which is excellent, and he's consolidated a little bit. I've lost 2 wounds now on the Tyrannifex after regaining a lot of wounds. He's now in combat, and most of my Hormagaunts have been destroyed from Typhus. He's taken down 21 Hormagaunts already. Now he's managed to survive about 50 to 60 attacks now with no wounds. Typhus is just a great model. A lot of models are in combat now, and I'm trying to bring everything else into combat, and as you can see, I'm planning to do a massive surge on Typhus. So all of his Terminators are still there. 3 Plague Marines are left on this side. The Land Raider, I managed to gain a wound with the Tyrannifex, and everything has come into close combat with Typhus on this side of the board, pretty much. So on turn 5, his Terminators are right in front of me. Going to take me down. All his Plague Marines are in combat with my Tyrannifex, who's down to 1 wound, and I've got 3 gaunts in combat there. At this point, Typhus has had about 130 attacks against him, and not a single one of them has wounded him. So in combat here, I killed a couple of Terminators. I managed to take down all the Plague Marines. That's why the Doom of Manatai is now made up. The Trygon Prime is now down. I think all of the gaunts have been destroyed by the Tyrannifex, and Typhus is still in the middle, and he has survived 230 attacks now, I think it is, and he still hasn't been taken down. But it is in fact the end of the game, and it turns out to be a draw with 6 points apiece. Tyranids 6, Chaos Space Marines 6. So there we have it then, a draw for Tyranids and Chaos Space Marines. The model of the entire game was Typhus. He managed to not only take down about 50 or 60 gaunts by himself, but he managed to survive. In the end, we totaled up about 250 attacks, and not a single one of them wounded him. Not one. Typhus is toughness 5, 4 wounds. I think a 4 up invulnerable save, and a 5 up feel no pain. He has a high weapon skill, and he's just deadly. So, a great game. Really enjoyed this game. It was really tight. We thought Chaos would win it, but the Tyranids only managed to get that extra point because they had Line Breaker. So the Tyranids had First Blood, Line Breaker, and 4 kill points, and the Chaos Space Marines got Warlord and 5 kill points. Or was it Warlord and 4 kill points? Either way, it was a draw, 6-all. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. The like button. It really helps. And again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.